So I finally watched Terrifier 1 and 2 and I'm a changed man. This isn't going to be like a standard movie review, more just me probably using the camera as a bit of therapy right now to talk about Terrifier 1 and 2. Because holy fuck, this was weird. I'd seen posters for Terrifier a few years ago, and it never just hooked me, because I thought it was very B-class, hell even C-class based on the budget here, and I just kind of pushed it off as another attempt at a slasher movie. And then of course Terrifier 2 came out last year, and that put it slightly back on my radar, but again, I just brushed it off. I thought it was a sequel coming out for the sake of sequel, but then people started telling me to watch it. They cautioned me first, but it's still telling me to watch it. I gave it a shot, and fucking hell, they weren't lying about anything they said. I've seen very mixed reviews of these movies online. You know, people saying it's a mindless, dumb slasher movie, which yes, that might be the case, but you're not watching the movie to try and see a group of young teens getting out alive and defeating Art the Clown. No, you're here to watch Art the Clown fuck the day up. The closest I could think was like a Nightmare on Elm Street vibe, where of course you've got Freddy, who is kind of hilarious and he's not just out to slash. You know, he'll take a minute for his own amusement, but then the focus in those movies is the kids overcoming Freddy a lot of the time. Not with Art the Clown. We are here to see Art the Clown fucking massacre people, and I don't use that word lightly. One thing I genuinely did have to think about for a moment is if people can see Art the Clown. You know, if he's only shown visible to certain people or the ones he's about to kill or not. Because let's be real for a minute. He looks fucked up, he's acting weird, and people don't seem to react to him the way that you would reasonably think somebody would. Quite obviously, I can't show you everything in these movies because, fuck me, they're not ready for human eyes at all. But before watching Terrifier, the worst thing that I could ever think of was that scene, I think it was in the first Hostel, where someone gets their Achilles tendon cut. And genuinely, as I said it, I could feel my tendon. You know that way where it's just so visceral that you can feel it? This movie goes harder. This movie goes pretty fucking hard, both of them. I love Art the Clown as a villain, as a slasher mascot, because what I feel he does is he strips away all the tropes for a lot of these slasher villains and just pulls it back to basics. Granted, in the second movie it gets a little bit more complicated, but let's just look at the first one for now. He is a creepy ass looking clown, and he carries a lot of very vicious weapons, like handcrafted weapons, scalpels on maces, things like that. But they're everyday objects. A lot of the best slashers, they are, let's be honest. You know, you've got a lot of knives and axes and things like that. But these are like the small implements that he's using. And he carries it around in a fucking bin bag. I seen him. And at first I thought it looked stupid, and I thought it looked funny, but seeing him walking around with his bin bag more was weird and creepy, and I wanted to get out the room as fast as possible, because a bin bag is now fucking terrifying when you see somebody walking with it. Thankfully, I don't see too many, but trust me when I say I shut the curtains of bin day. I do not want to see people taking shit out. And the fact he wears all white, I absolutely loved. Because as the movie's progressing, he ain't fucking all white anymore. Like, that man is all fucking red.
That's it. Nice and easy.
It's clearly showing a progression in the movie for just how many people he's killed based on the fucking state he looks at the end. It's not pleasant, but it is interesting to the fact that that keeps happening. You know, you watch some of these slashers and they always still look clean by the end of it. You know, they'll kill people, but then maybe a scene or two passes and he just looks neat again. Art the Clown doesn't care. He will look horrific and make no attempt to clean himself with like a baby wipe or some sanitary lotion or anything like that, and then just move on to the next person. It's his comedy that makes him creepy. Like, he loves the fact he's killing people. And it's fucking weird. Now the first one takes place on Halloween night.
Promising you weren't gonna get shit-faced tonight?
Guys kept buying me drinks. I can't help it if people find me interesting.
Yeah, definitely your mom.
Which, good choice. Very much for it. Yeah, good cast. I like it. I like where this is going so far. I'm rooting for these gals. Unfortunately, not for too long. The plot is razor thin. We have just got a few girls out on Halloween. They encounter Art and slightly antagonize him, so now he's got his target set on them.
My friend wants your number.
Fucking kill you.
Come buy us dinner.
Stop. Just shut the fuck up.
They then escape into an apartment complex, and he is just on the kill for fucking everybody. There's not much more to it than that, but some of these killings, fucking hell. And the fact he pulls out a gun at one point. Was just the funniest thing in the world to me. I know that's a very cynical thing to be saying, but he is walking around with a bin bag full of implements and weapons for like the slow kill, but when he pulls out a piece and just shoots at somebody to kill them, didn't expect it. Fucking well done, Art. Like, he's using everything he can. One of the kills though, fuck me, this is the one that has stayed with me the longest since watching the movie. It's overtaken Hostel in my mind. So the main character's friend is tied up. Everything's on show. Trust me, you're not enjoying it. Her legs are separated. It looks like she's doing an upside down YMCA impression, and she is cut from lip to tip. Just let that sink in for a moment. I quite obviously can't show it, but I will say that it's the first time in my life that I have ever felt my non-existent vagina. I can still feel it when I think about the movie, and nothing's down there. Like, that's how visceral it was to watch. Like, it's just... Jesus Christ, Art. He prepared for that kill, and he'd done it as a spectacle for somebody else. Talk about the sinister slasher movies, and he is up there for sure. Now, with the movie just getting weirder and weirder, it's Art fucking with people and just having a laugh and having a staring moment. Like, he is fully in control at all times. You wouldn't imagine it based on how he's looking, but it's very clear. He's fucking in charge. And then there's a moment where he skins somebody, wears said skin, and does a little bit of a dance. You know, this man is... going for a different look, shall we say, and again, it's so uncomfortable and weird to watch. I don't know what to say. Like, I don't know how they wrote this. And the fact that this movie was on a budget of like $35,000 is incredible. One average year's salary made this movie. I wouldn't have guessed it. At the same time, I would have guessed it. And I can only thank them for having a small budget. Because see, seeing some of these kills, if they had the money to make it look more realistic, I would have clocked out. That cheap look to it is just enough that I can watch it, be fucking horrified, but not be so repulsed that I need to turn the movie off or flick over. Because I'm all for gore and movies like this. They are a good time to watch. Well, I say good time. They're interesting to watch. Had it been like hyper realistic, I do not think I could have got through this movie. Just ask yourself that. If Terrifier 1 and 2, with all of the kills that took place, and I mean all of them, was hyper realistic and you seen it all the way you do in the movie, could you have sat through it yourself? Fucking hope not, because you might need to speak to somebody. And really, Terrifier 1 ends with Art the Clown. He is taken away. And the movie's left open to the idea of a sequel, which inevitably, once the first one became this cult classic, the sequel had to be around the corner. And the second movie went bigger in a lot of different ways. The budget, the production, and even the lore of Art the Clown was enhanced in the second movie.
Drop on by the Clown Cafe, your favorite meals on wheels. The menu is disgusting and it's full of special deals.
Watching the second one confused me as much as it revolted me as well. Because they're expanding the lore of Art, He's quite clearly a demon. He's not just your average man. Well, definitely not average, but he's not just a dude at the end of the day with a bin bag full of scalpels. He is a demon of some kind, and he comes across this younger demon girl who, in her first moments, makes a bit of a mess. And doesn't break eye contact. And it's the eye contact that was creepier than the mess. And even in the second movie, this is why I didn't think everybody could see Art the Clown. You know the way in Family Guy that some people can understand Stewie at certain times? Kind of had that same vibe with Art, because he is in the laundrette, cleaning himself down from the first movie. Understandably so, man's gotta look good. And there's a guy in there who's just chilling. I would have booked it out there immediately. Even if he came in looking pristine, he's a creepy looking fucker and I'm playing it safe. So with expanding the lore, which, yeah, I don't quite fully get, he's a demon, there's a young girl, but there's clearly more to come, and I am now looking forward to Terrifier 3. Didn't think that would be the case going into these movies. But the movie really focuses in on Sienna. It is 1 year later, it takes place again on Halloween. She is like a chosen one sort of character.
What if you're connected too? What?
And you know what? See for Terrifier 2, absolute credit to be had here. When they've got a main character, they've got a girl doing cosplay, and at no point is it looked at for laughs or a joke made of it. It's just someone very good at her craft making something incredible, shall we say? It does look awesome. Like, as much as it is fantastic, it is good cosplay, and even better to the movie, they didn't make her into some stereotypical geek or nerd who loves video games, and that's why she's creating it. They had a bit of respect for cosplayers. It is weird that you'd want to see that in more movies, and this is the one that done it, but here we are. The fact that she's making this outfit for Halloween, she's doing it based on her dead father's character from a video game. Like probably most people, when you make a character, you might make them a bit sexy if the option's there, let's be honest. But it's when she makes the costume and her mum says that.
Your tits are practically popping out.
They are not.
They are. Turn around.
You know what I was making. It's Daddy's character.
Yes, but seeing it on paper and seeing it on your daughter are two different things.
That was a bit weird. Like, if your dad did see you in that, he's going to be conflicted at best.
Dad would have loved it.
Not saying your dad's a bit creepy or anything like that. However, he's made a character look sexy, so if his daughter rocked up in that looking sexy as well, yeah, that's gonna be weird. Like, he started a new save for sure if he's seen that. But the dad had this book of pictures and he would draw them down, and he's drawn Art the Clown, he's drawn all the killings from the first movie, and he's drawn Sienna in costume, like taking down Art the Clown. So did he die because he went insane? Was he schizophrenic? Like, what caused his death? And then did he kind of prophesize what's happening? The second movie's a mindfuck. However, we're here for it, we're here for the killings, and do they up the game in that respect? You fucking bet they do. And also, not only do they up the killings, they up Art being creepy and around the public and just interacting with people in his weird, creepy, jokey way. So it's unsettling as much as it is horrific to watch at the same time. You know, he goes fucking trick-or-treating at one point.
Look, I get it, dude. The whole creepy silent mime gimmick, I mean, it's very effective.
He goes to the shop that Sienna's at, she's picking up some new things, and he's just there trying on shades. People don't tell Art he needs to fucking leave fast enough in this movie for my liking. I'm not going for realism, however, people need to be telling this guy to piss off.
Stop! Please, stop, please!
Hey, buddy. Wouldn't quit causing trouble?
He looks creepy and should not be allowed in public places, especially when he's all bloody and fucked up. One kill in particular, they very clearly were trying for more in it. I can't show it, obviously, but this one kill, let me just talk about the fact that it includes a scalping, stabbing, cutting, proper visceral cuts as well, like proper lacerations into this person, multiple of them, a broken bone, loss of an arm, acid, salt, and out of all of that, I can only relate to the fact that sometimes I may have had a little bit of a cut on my finger and I go to eat a chippy with a bit too much salt. That hurts like a bitch. Can't imagine what she went through. And she fucking lives by the end of it. What the fuck? Well, I don't imagine for long after, but she's alive after all of the things I just listed. I think the weapons in these movies are so simplistic that they put me on edge more than any like big high-tech weapon that I couldn't possibly imagine. You know when you see someone being tortured with something that's out of your realm of possibility? Yeah, the results look horrible and you don't enjoy it, but again, it's just far enough removed that you can get through the movie. In here, it is like everyday objects he's used and he's slinging on his back.
No, stop it! Stop, don't, please!
And that's what makes it worse. That this could happen. Well, could to a degree, shall we say. But fuck me, I'm not gonna lie, I didn't know what this video was going to be. I just wanted to sit down, talk about the fact that I watched Terrifier, and I'm using you for some therapy right now, so thank you for being here. And I would recommend this one to any like horror buff out there. Don't let the budget put you off. The performances are all as good as you would expect from a movie of these budgets, let's be honest. Like our main characters, especially in the first movie, kind of phone it in, they're alright. The main girl is great.
I was about to bomb the hell out of this place.
Bomb?
Bug bomb. Pest control?
What kind of pest?
You sure you want me to tell you before you use the bathroom?
Why?
Our friends are annoying, they kind of fit the cliches.
Why does this shit always happen to me?
Do you have a spare?
Art the Clown very understandably steals the show in both films. I expect he will in the third one, which will be happening. I fucking hope it happens. I'm now hooked. I need to know the lore. I need to know more about Art the Clown. But the second film, the performances are a bit better. There's a lot more characters involved. You know, Sienna and her friends and their families. And it does kind of expand out in that respect.
Did you figure out what you're dressing up as tomorrow?
The Miles County Clown. Don't do that.
Why not?
Because that's beyond disrespectful.
What are we talking about?
There's a conflict between Sienna and her mum.
You are going to kill us one of these days between your chemicals and your heat guns and staying up till 4 o'clock in the fucking morning doing God only knows what.
Oh my God, for the 100th time, I was not using chemicals and I did not leave burning candles on my dresser. Why can't you just believe me?
And her mum and her brother as well, because her brother's acting out, but he's kind of focused on the Art the Clown side of things, and her mum can't deal with all this.
It wasn't me. It was the clown. The little girl brought it in.
I don't want to hear another word about this goddamn clown.
A weird thing I didn't expect from Terrifier 2 is that the family conflict dynamic does get weirdly realistic in a lot of scenes. It's not just phoned in for the sake of phoning it in and creating false conflict. You can buy it. This movie's creating family conflict that some movies really fail at doing, and it done it with this fucking guy. Does Art the Clown deserve to stand alongside the slasher icons? You know, your Michael Myers, your Jasons, your Freddys, and all of these others. I would say he does. He does just enough different to make him unique in that batch of people. He is a demon, but again, all of them have some kind of supernatural aspect about them. His weapons are different to the rest, so he fits the mark there. He is a clown, but different to Pennywise, so he is unique enough and visceral enough. And that comedy side of things just fucking worked. Look, that's everything I had to say. I just wanted to get that off my chest. The fact I've watched these movies, I've sat down, and now I am fucking hooked, and I shouldn't be. I am a changed man. Horrors after Terrifier 2 that I've seen do not hit the same, because when someone's dead, you've seen worse. And still to this day, when I think of that scene, I can still feel my non-existent vagina down there. That is everything I've got to say on Terrifier. And if you've supported the channel in any way this far, through liking, subscribing, or commenting, I really do appreciate it. Thank you so much. And thank you for watching this one.